If you're unsure when you should be playing your chips in Euro Fantasy 2024, don't worry, I've got you covered with the ultimate guide in today's video. Now, before we dive into today's video, if you haven't already joined the mini league, we've got over 500 members in there now. Like I said, you will get shout outs. You'll get shout outs on Twitter, shout outs on YouTube if you are doing well at different points throughout the tournament. Use the link in the description or use the league code on screen right now to join the FPL Tom Super League. Like I said, we've got over 500 members in there. Maybe if we could get to like 750 or even 1,000 by the start of the tournament, that would be absolutely incredible if we could do that. So yeah, get yourself in there, guys, if you want to get a shout out from me. But today's kind of topic of discussion is going to be chips. What are the chips? What time to play each chip? And what is the best strategy for the game? Now, I think there are two strategies, and we'll come on to both of those: the pros, the cons, and my personal choice, which one I'm going to go for. So we're going to start off talking about what chips are in Euro Fantasy. You have two chips in this game, so a little bit different from the likes of FPL if you're pretty regular on that one. You have the wildcard and the limitless chip. The wildcard, again, works exactly the same as FPL. This can be used anytime and only once, except from match day 1 and match day 4. So obviously the first game where, we're basically building our drafts right now, you can't use it then because we've already got unlimited transfers. And then again, in the round of 16, you're going to get unlimited transfers for that round as well. So any other round, you can use your wild card, and pretty much it works exactly the same as it does in FPL. The other chip, on the other hand, is limitless. Now, if you've never played any kind of Euro fantasy games or any kind of Champions League fantasy games, this is going to be a new chip to you guys. Now, this one basically allows you to make unlimited transfers for just that one match day with no budget restrictions. So if you've played FPL, it works like a free hit, but there is no budget requirement. So you can build this team absolutely to the heavens with top quality players, all, the 10, 11 million pound players you want to have in this team. You can ram them in here, as many as you possibly want. You can get as many as you can, like I said, in here because you've got that unlimited budget. Once the match day obviously has finished, your squad will go back to how it will be used before. So that is the limitless chip. Again, works very, very similar to what we've seen in FPL in previous years, where you play your free hit, and then once your free hit's done, your team reverts back to how it was before. So those are the two chips that are in the game. Now let's talk about strategy number 1. And this is personally going to be my strategy as well. This is strategy number 1. It is going to be used to use the match day 2 as the wild card, and then in match day 3 we're going to activate the limitless chip. Now obviously the first draft, the draft that we're all building now, this is just going to be used to target those match day 1 fixtures. Then in game week 2 we're going to target the easier fixtures in that one, and then finally on the final group stage games we are going to use the limitless chip, because I do personally believe there's a lot of top quality teams with those premium assets that I want to have in my team. There's going to be also a lot of rotation happening in that final game week. I believe that is the best week to go and play the limitless chip. And then what we also get is obviously the unlimited transfers in the round of 16. So again, we're back to building a pretty strong team for the remainder of the tournament. Now I think the pros to this strategy are basically you're going to have 4 weeks of pretty much, you'd argue, the best team on paper, or at least, a good proportion of players that should do well in each single game week. You're essentially getting 4 free hits, within those 4, 3 weeks. It's very short tournament, and if you can take advantage of that, I think that could be massive. I think as well, with these early group games as well, you do have a lot of the top teams playing lesser opponents, so that's going to mean more goals, potentially more clean sheet points as well. So I think that is a massive plus for me. You see a lot of kind of extra, additional games towards the back end of tournaments where they're a little bit more cagey. There's not as many goals, there's not as many teams getting thumped, unless obviously you are Brazil. But aside from them back in the 2014 World Cup, it doesn't happen very often, does it? So I think in terms of that, I think that is one of the main positives. Now we're going to talk about the downsides to this strategy as well. The downsides for me personally is it means you don't have a wild card later in the kind of campaign, if you like, of playing this game, to be honest, because once that round of 16 goes, and if a lot of your players do go out, you've only got 3 transfers to mend that team ahead of the quarterfinal quarterfinal stages, sorry. So you are going to be potentially left in a little bit of a predicament. But realistically, are we going to be using our bench at that point? Maybe not. As long as you could get an 11 out, I think, you know, this strategy still pays dividends. And, you know, taking advantage of these earlier group game fixtures with the higher players against lesser opponents, for me personally, I think that just works a little bit better. So let's take a look at what match day 2 looks like. I've put it into tier order here. These are teams realistically you want to be targeting. Tier 1 are obviously going to be your best teams. Tier 2, maybe some teams to potentially consider. And then tier 3, maybe some teams that do have very strong fixtures, but, you know, predominantly we wouldn't usually be looking at these. So tier 1, we do have Belgium and Croatia. Belgium are obviously playing Romania, so probably worth a little bit of maybe a double up, potentially a triple up as well. We'll see how they got on in their first game, see what kind of quality they have as well. Croatia are playing Albania, and if they want to get out of that group stage, they are going to need a positive result in that fixture as well. So definitely worth looking at bringing a few of their players. Hungary and Switzerland and Scotland play each other, so I think either of these two could fit into category 2 or category 3 as well, depending how they do in the opening games. Germany have Hungary as well. Again, seeing how that Hungary side gets on in match day 1 against Switzerland, that very much could easily move to a tier 1, or it could stay in a tier 2 if Hungary do put in a positive performance. England's most difficult group of of the group stage is going to be against Denmark, but I still think, you know, you would back England. Looking at Elvenify's data as well, they still back England to do extremely well in that game as well. Portugal, they are playing Turkey. Again, probably their most difficult opponent of the group stage, but in terms of some of the other quality that we do have throughout this tournament, again, I feel that could be another fixture to be targeting. Then down the bottom, we do have some teams with, you know, pretty goodish fixtures. Again, if they're looking, you know, pretty good, pretty tasty, they could be nice teams to potentially take a little bit of a gamble on, because we will be removing these players in match day 3 and in match day 2. So obviously we've got Serbia, Ukraine, Georgia and Czech Republic there, but there's definitely some other ones as well. Obviously we're going to have to wait and see how the group stage does get on and see which teams are doing well and which teams potentially look a little bit shaky. But I do like going into this match day 2 with kind of a little bit of free reign. It means I can build the best team for match day 1, the best team for match day 2 and the best team for match day 3, and obviously I then get to, you know, just reset my team going into the knockout stages as well. Right, let's move on to match day 3, where we will be playing the limitless, and this is the reason I'm picking match day 3 for that limitless chip. As you can see, there are a lot of top teams with quality fixtures on the final day. You've got Portugal, you've got England, you've got Spain. Germany, Belgium, France and Netherlands are all in tier 2. I think even tier 3 it's probably not even worth looking at. But maybe if some of these teams have still got stuff to play for, or maybe they've got some exceptional players throughout the tournament, they potentially could be worth a gander. But this is my main focus of why I think playing the limitless in match day 3 is the most beneficial, because what you get here is a lot of these top teams with good fixtures. And again, we want to, you know, quite a few of these premium assets. You're probably looking at 2 to 3 from each of the top tiers already. That's probably a lot of your budget already eaten up if you were to play the wild card or just go into a regular week with this one as well. Never mind looking at the likes of Germany, Belgium, France and Holland as well. So plenty of high quality players in there that we do want to get. Now, I have had this question asked to me in a few of the comment section. It is, well, what happens when, you know, players are rotated? A lot of the top teams are already through. You know, not every top team is going to be through this tournament. And even if, you know, you're not playing a chip in match day 3, rotation is still going to affect you and your side. And I feel like we probably might be able to predict some of the rotation as well, maybe see where some of the top players potentially would miss out. But it's quite a short tournament, and you do feel like a lot of the top players still might play in these games as well. So for me personally, I still think it is definitely worth playing a chip in match day 3. There's going to be a lot of rotation, yes, but at least with this chip, I can hopefully counteract that rather than just going into it blind and not playing any chips. But let me know what you think about this first strategy down in the comments section, and let's take a look at strategy number 2. Now, this is going to be the second strategy. I kind of already alluded to it. And what we're going to do with this one is use that limitless in match day 3 or the wild card, potentially. But I think you're probably going to use the limitless, you know. that's probably the way you're going to go with that one. So you're going to use the limitless in match day 3, wildcard in match day 5. So the first draft will be used to target match day 1 and 2. Then the limitless in match day 3 to get all the easy fixtures like we just spoke about with the premium assets there. So again, we're going to go down that route. And then unlimited transfers to the round of 16. And then wildcard in match day 5, match day 6, all these later stages of it, potentially when your team needs it. Because realistically, what could happen is you could build a super team for the round of 16, and then a lot of the top teams or teams with easier fixtures could very, very easily go out. It's not out the realm, upsets do happen. You've just got to think back to the World Cup. Obviously, Morocco made it all the way, so pretty much, they got to the semi-finals. Like, how many people would have predicted or had Morocco players in their team? Not many, and they did cause quite a few upsets along the way as well. So that is just something to obviously consider as well with obviously the first strategy. This second strategy does allow you a little bit, in my personal opinion, a get out of jail free card with that wild card in hand still a little bit later, when other people might be scrambling to at least maybe try and get 11 together. So I do think this strategy does have quite a lot of pluses, but what I think it does potentially restrict you on is that match day 1 and 2 team. They're going to be very similar, and obviously a lot of things can change very easily, people's perceptions as well throughout the course of the group stage. For me personally, it could easily change. If one of the top teams does exceptionally poor in the opening match day, they go into game week 2, maybe a little bit of rotation comes in as well, pressure from the fans, stuff like that. And you could very easily sit there and be like, oh, I've got one of the worst teams and I've got like double their assets, or, something like that. Or maybe there's a player that's just absolutely incredible. You realistically could get to them in transfers. You do have transfers throughout the group stage. But if you've got to make wholesale changes, or maybe some of the players that you did pick were a little bit disappointing, you could be trapped. So that one could be a little bit of a disappointment. So I think, realistically for me, I think I like the having... And like I said, we're going to go back to my strategy here. This is the one that I think works best for me personally. You don't have to agree with that statement. You can disagree in the comment section. But for me personally, I think this is the best strategy. You're basically getting 4 free hits realistically. Then obviously the round of 16 one, it's going to be a little bit more targeting the better teams and teams that you think are going to go through. So there's got to be a little bit more thought around it. But the rest of them, it's just 1 week planning, and you're trying to get the best players in each week across these tournaments as well. I feel kind of stats and data sometimes goes a little bit out the window, and it's more about the players that just randomly find a little bit of form and just cook over those opening couple games. So that for me is the better way to go and play this game. But you let me know what your chip strategies are down in the comment section below. Let me know if you agree with any points, or let me know if you disagree with any points as well. Like I said, get yourself in the mini league. Like I said, we're over 500 members now. It'd be absolutely immense if we could get 750 or maybe even 1,000 members in there as well. And if you've enjoyed any of the content that you've seen on the channel today, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. But thank you very much for watching today, ladies and gentlemen, and good luck in match day 1.